Hi.
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 Hi, guys. My name's Alexia Eftasthiou, and I'm a manager at the Wall Group. Thank you for joining the Brand Partnership Starter Kit. We have two amazing speakers that I'll let them introduce themselves. Naeemah, you want to start?
Sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Naeemah LaFond. I am represented at the Wall Group, and Alexia is my manager. I am also an editorial hairstylist and the global artistic director at Amica. I'm also an incubator program mentor.
Melissa?
I'm Melissa Palmieri. I own my own PR agency. I specialize in beauty, fashion, wellness. I've been doing this for over 20 years. I work with top artists as well as brands, so I can see how brands and artists work together from both sides of the spectrum.
Thank you. I just wanted to flag to anyone listening in, you can submit your questions in the Q&A box to the right, and we're trying to get as many questions as we can at the end of the talk. We're just going to jump right into it for some questions. Melissa, can you share a little bit about what you do at your agency and how you work with different artists?
So we work with talent, obviously, to raise their profile in the media and in social media. We work to develop brand partnerships with them, as well as pitch, different story angles and narrative that best suit their personality and their creative vision. And then on the other side of it, we work with brands that want to partner with creators to elevate their brand and give a voice to their brand.
How do you find new artists that you want to work with?
It all depends. I mean, a lot of it's been through word of mouth. We work with some top artists. I mean, Chris Appleton. We work with Navasha. We work with, Jawara, through some partnerships in our brand. So we definitely have a lot of artists that we work with that just kind of fall on our lap through different activations that we've done with other brands. We see their vision, and also it kind of just organically develops through the relationship. So sometimes we'll bring a talent on to work with a brand and find that we have a really good chemistry, that they have a really interesting point of view and a story to tell, and we find it easily forms into this partnership with just us, not just the brand, to be able to elevate, their personality in different ways.
When you find like a new client, new brand, or a new artist to work with, what's the onboarding process like once you move forward?
So for each thing, it's different. Artists work completely different than brands. So from a brand perspective, we work with a heavy onboarding process that starts with a questionnaire that talks about the history of the brand, what they've gone through, the founder story, any hero products that they have, retailers, things that are important in the brand message that they want to get out to the consumer. When it comes to an artist, artists are creatives. They're not at their computers all day. They're always on the go. So it's kind of whatever access you can get to them to kind of nail down what you want to accomplish in the easiest way possible. So talking to them on their way to set, from some celebrity's bathroom, from, on Wi-Fi on the plane. I mean, we get how to work with artists in a way that allows them to be their busy selves without, sacrificing our time brainstorming together. So it's kind of adapting to how best suits them.
Amazing. Naeemah, you've been in the industry for a very long time. How has working with brands changed from when you first started to now?
Wow, yes, I have been in the industry for a while, and it's so different. Like, I don't recall it looking anything like it looks today, because we currently have the social media marketing aspect involved now. That was not a thing before. And this has created so much more opportunities for artists. The idea that you can partner with brands and, create content for them, or travel with them, or just, create information for them. it has created such a huge opportunity for creatives to not only put themselves out there, but also to make a lot of money.
Yeah. Has like interactions early on with your career with brands changed like compared to now?
Well, yes, because now I have you. Now I'm represented by the Wall Group, so it's definitely different. It was a different hustle before where you're like trying to chase people down, where now I'm also in a different space in my career where brands do seek me out as well.
Yeah. And you've been working with Amika even before you signed with the Wall Group.
Yes.
What was that process like in the beginning? Like, did they approach you? What was that evolution like?
Well, I actually approached them. I saw that they were like looking to partner with someone, and they were such a small brand at the time. No one knew who they were, but I loved the little story that they had, and everyone thought I was crazy. Like, where are you going? Because I was with another brand. Like, no one even knows what this brand is. Like, you're going to ruin your career. And I took a jump for it and it worked. Like, it was just a great match. And I know that's a very unique story to be with a brand for so long.
Yeah.
Um, we've been together since 2013. I've helped grow the brand. So it's definitely different than a lot of brand partnerships. But it also has, because we have that relationship, they've also created the space for me to also work with other brands. It's not this brand partnership where it's like Amika and Amika only. Like obviously I'm with the Wall Group, which a lot of people don't have that opportunity to be with a brand exclusively and also be working and doing photo shoots and fashion shows and all kinds of things. So
Yeah, Amika's been great. They've just been really supportive of your career, which is amazing.
absolutely, yes.
Melissa, you have experience working with various brands and clients. From a publicist point of view, what do you look for when it comes to sponsoring an artist for a brand deal?
So, to Naeemah's point, things have changed, right? So, content creation is king right now, and it's extremely helpful when you're looking for artists to know that they're active on all platforms. So it's kind of this new approach where artists aren't just doing the celebrity hair moments on the red carpet. They're also creating content specifically for TikTok, Instagram, and all of those other platforms, YouTube. I mean, brands want to know that you're active and you're out there to be able to spread their brand message and potentially create these viral moments for brands that go outside of that one red carpet moment. And so knowing that, someone's working with a major celebrity obviously is key into looking at, who do they work with, are they their go-to stylist, because that relationship between the client, the celebrity client, and the artist is super key when it comes to what our deliverables are going to be when it comes to pitching a look. Because outlets, yes, obviously the how to's are great, but now it goes beyond that. Can you get me behind the scenes photos? Can you get me pictures that no one else is going to see? And then it's that balance of the artist feeling like they're giving exclusive content to their own personal audience and also giving exclusive content to a media outlet, because that then creates a big moment for that brand that's a part of that. So it's definitely knowing that artists are active on all platforms and also have the relationships with their clients. They're doing them regularly to help gain access to those big picture moments.
And what are like the three major platforms that you like to see artists active on? Is it Instagram, TikTok? What's the other one?
It's really at this moment, Instagram and TikTok.
Yeah. And are there any don'ts that prevent you with working with someone, like big no red flags that you like to stay away from if you see like an artist do?
I mean, you want to work with someone who works with more than one person exclusively, right? Like knowing that they have a full spectrum of artists and talent, especially today, making sure that they're working with different hair textures, really knowing that they can work with anyone at any time and really create beautiful work, because at the end of the day, most brands want to have a full-on activation with artists, not just for those red carpet moments, but let's say for an event where they're seeing editors or consumers in store. You want to know that they can work with anyone and any type of hair so that they can deliver and show how the products work. Obviously, scandals are number one on our list of like making sure no one's said anything inappropriate on the platforms or caused any controversy in the past, or have had moments that went awry that are known in the industry. I mean, those are obviously the big don'ts, because really the work speaks for itself. If someone's having beautiful hair on the red carpet and people are talking about it, that's really who you want to align with. Or the same goes for makeup or for fashion. And obviously, I think today the other piece is the talent that they're working with. Even if you're not aligning with their specific channel, like the talent's not going to post about the product on their Instagram handle. You want to know that the talent has some sort of representation on Instagram or TikTok, because that's where their audience is living.
Do you find it like a prerequisite? Because I remember when I was first getting to know Naeemah, she said she was media trained, which was amazing. And you don't come across that a lot. Is that something that you're seeing more often?
Yeah, I mean, look, if they're active on a platform, they're media training. They're knowing how to produce content, create content, and also be able to kind of speak to products and how-tos in a way that's easy for the viewer to emulate or gravitate towards, and that's why they're following the talent. So I'm finding more and more artists are very much more prepared today to be able to speak to media, do takeovers for outlets or brand channels, because they're doing it on their platform. And that's another reason why you kind of have to have this, three-pronged approach of being, doing the work with celebrities as well as being active on all these different platforms, right? So that people can see your personality. They can quickly take a look at your Instagram, your TikTok, and see the type of content you're creating, how you speak to that content, and know like, oh, this person would be great to work with this brand.
Thank you. Naeemah, do you have any do's and don'ts about working with a brand, like great tips for artists?
I think it's really important to partner with a brand whose image you really like and whose product you really like, because I mean, as artists, I feel like we're very emotional people, and we take our art very seriously. And for us to spend hours working on something or in partnership with something, the love and the passion really has to be there, because if it's not, it's really going to show in the work and you're really not going to put out your best work. So it's best to seek and be sought after by brands that you really like genuinely want to work with. I think it's so important. And to speak to Melissa's point, when I first started, media training looked like making sure that when you put yourself out there, you really understand that you're not only representing yourself, but you're also representing all the brands that you represent. And anything you say and in any comment that you make, you have to be cognizant of that. You're representing several platforms, and then also that this moment and this comment can live on forever. And to keep that in mind. And I think that is something that's so key. And I think that can take down a lot of careers where you have a moment where you're just like online and you're just spewing out random stuff. It's not going to just last for today. The brands that want to work with you later on are going to look that up and be like, ugh, that moment is not really great. I don't think we want to partner with this person because this might happen again. Or these other brands don't want us to partner with this person because of this past history. So it's really important to keep that in mind, especially in this day and age of social media. Like, who you are and what you put out there is not only representing you and your legacy, but also it's going to hit your pockets.
Yeah, I think it's definitely important. Just working with you, you really only like to work with brands that you're super passionate about and that you really use and like. And I know you like to champion like a lot of small businesses, which is amazing too, which has been great.
Yeah. Important.
Very important. Okay, I'm going to call on each of you just a few other questions. Do you have advice for a freelance artist who might not yet be represented, but is hoping to work with brands? Any advice to give them? If each of you could answer that question. Melissa, do you want to start?
So I think, again, I read Naeemah's story about, working in the law firm and then, volunteering to do her friend's shoot and then, taking a graveyard shift to like do these calls and so she could work during the day. And I think that hustle really goes a long way, especially when you're freelancing, getting a reputation that you're someone who is going to turn it out when you get on set or just be on time, be prepared, be helpful, all of those things and just know your stuff. I read about you planting yourself at the magazine store and getting inspired. Like so many artists really are visionaries and they are doing the work. They're keeping an eye on not just the trends, but also, art in itself and how, whether it's makeup or hair or nails, how you can really evolve and change and create something new. And I think that would be my biggest thing is I always say, when brands are, coming to us or artists, you have to stand out. This is a very crowded space. It's a very crowded space, the beauty market. There's new brands and new artists popping up every day. So really asking yourself, what are you going to do to stand out and be different from everyone else that's out there?
Naeemah?
I agree with that totally. I agree with the whole idea of standing out and being different. I think people think of like looking at other artists and their pages and they're successful. Let me just kind of do what they're doing. But the brands are reaching out to that person. They're the go-to person for that thing that they do so well. Find the thing that you do so well and hone in on that. Even if it's like super niche and, very different and really strange, give it a shot. If it doesn't work, then you can move on to the next thing, but try out new things. And that's how things go viral. And that's how you get seen, just by being yourself and doing what it is that you truly love to do. So I think if anything, just definitely being yourself and being different is really important. And also honoring relationships. I think that's really important too, that you are professional, that you respond to people in time. Those things go such a long way because they can always just reach out to the next person.
Just speaking about that, Naeemah, can you just talk about, remember the last incubator, how Dre got your attention, just how important the email was? I love that story. I think it's so helpful.
Yes, absolutely. So Dre, who's a hairstylist, she lived in another state at the time. She reached out, and I get emails all the time with people wanting to assist. Some of them are just like, "Hey, I'd love to shadow you. Here's my email address," or "I love your work," and it's like like a whole storybook of information. But Dre's email was like concise to the point. She offered up her like a few samples of her work and also what she can bring to the table on set. She let me know what her strengths were and what she was looking to do to help me. And it was very to the point and clear and professional. And I didn't have to go digging for what does Dre do? Let me look up her work. Let me Google her. It was very like right there for me. And I think that's such an important thing to do when you're reaching out to people. Don't make them do the legwork to find out who you are and what you do and what you can bring to the table. put it all right there and condense it so that because these are busy people, so that it's easy to read, easy to consume, and it's right there, and it's super professional. So
yeah. Okay, I think we're gonna open it up to some questions to anyone that's listening in. Kai Mitchell asks, as someone who is fresh on the scene of brand partnerships as a content creator, what's the number one thing you'd recommend when getting started? Melissa?
So, I mean, I'm just trying to understand this question because this person is in brand partnerships or they're trying to get into brand partnerships as a content creator.
Yeah, it looks like they're an artist, like a content creator, and they want to get into brand partnerships. It looks like they want to get the eye of a brand. What should they do?
Okay. So I think, first of all, so many people, are like, oh, well, even if you're getting started and you have a few thousand followers, they're already looking, okay, who's going to pay me to do certain things? I think number one is start to do it organically and tagging brands. Tag all the brands for free out of the gate on a regular basis that you're working with, that you love, show your passion for them. Because here's the thing, if they start to see traffic driving from your channel, they're going to reach out to you and they're going to say, this person's performing for us. Like, I don't know, when they started, I don't know, what their background is, but I do know that they've driven a significant amount of traffic with this video, and I want to get in touch with them and see how we can work with them. So just organically doing video content with things that you love, where your passion comes through, and starting to tag those brands, and ultimately they'll start to reach out to you if you're creating viral videos in TikTok that are getting thousands of views, or they're seeing traffic being driven from your channel. That would be, number one. That I would do is just starting to create beautiful content with brands tagged in it.
Naeemah, do you have anything else to add?
yes, I think consistency is important. Like, not to just post and then 2 weeks later you're posting again. To try to put something out there consistently. And I think when you think about it just off of its face, I think a lot of people think it's like overwhelming. Like, I don't have time to create that much content. But now in the age of TikTok and Reels, like just like a 3-second moment can be your content for the day. You don't have to overthink it. I've also been guilty of that. I've just, really gotten to my making Reels bag, and it's so much easier. Like, I think I was like really overthinking it. I have so much content. We've done like so much photo shoots, and I have so many clients, and there's like so many pictures and videos sitting in my phone and in your phones as well out there. Just think about like, okay, this doesn't have to be, maybe all you have is a video of the client like looking into the camera and turning around, and you think it's nothing, but actually take that video and get a really cool, great audio that's gone viral right now and put it on top of that video. Tag the brands that you use their makeup or hair products in that video, and then that's your moment.
We also like tell a lot of artists too, like if you have like a down day or a day off, you're not going to be on set, like just record a bunch of content that one day, and then you could just, span it out for a week or 2 weeks, and you just have a bunch of stuff and you don't feel the pressure to create every day.
Right. And also what I try to do is also do content around like what's in my kit or what I'm using that day.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times we're on set and we can't, shoot the client, we can't, include the models in it. So like maybe when they're in makeup or they're doing something else, I'm like, okay, so today I'm on set and these are the 5 products that I'm using to create texture. Let me tell you about them. And that's just the video in itself. So just don't overthink it.
Let it be organic.
And just to add to what Naeemah just said, someone from my team just attended a conference about, TikTok creators. And one of the things they said was consistency. And one of the larger TikTokers had mentioned that they were posting 3 pieces of content a day, which sounds exhausting. But I think when you're starting out, I think it's key to be just almost overproducing content, and you can bank it for later, to your point.
For sure. Another question. Are there, I guess this is coming from like an artist side again, are there any key elements to look for when reviewing a brand contract? So I guess if an artist was to sign on with a brand, is there anything they should look for? Any red flags? Melissa, do you want to take that one?
So, as an artist, obviously, just making sure you kind of look at the time you're spending on everything you're creating for the brand to ensure that you feel like the budget is right. I mean, again, we're just talking about how much time it creates to make content. Making sure you're really almost giving an hourly rate in your mind of what is going into this contract so that you make sure you're getting paid what you're worth. I think how they're using that content is key. Are they, using it in ads? Are they using it at point of sale? Because if they're using it at point of sale, that's a big driver. And I think that it's essential to make sure that you're being compensated if you're driving direct sales to a product. I think also questions of models, lighting, location, if they're asking you to create certain content on a model, making sure that that cost of that model is built into your contract so that you're not responsible for providing the model. If they want something shot at a beach, like they're providing the location, you don't have to find a random beach and hope that you're not asked for a permit, things like that. I think making sure to really analyze what they're asking you to do and what might be an external cost. If you're an artist who requires hair, makeup to look your best self to create this content, making sure that cost is built in.
All great points. Naeemah, do you have anything else to add?
No, I think you pretty much covered it, Melissa.
Sierra wants to know what each of your recipe for success is within your respective fields. Naeemah?
I personally feel that my recipe for success is being genuine and being myself and being kind.
Very true. Melissa?
I think it's persistence. It's also being kind and being human, working with a team, just making sure everyone's a human being. Everyone makes mistakes. It's less important to be hard on someone for their mistakes and more important to make sure that they're learning from those mistakes, because then they'll never make that mistake again. I think it's being passionate about what you do. If there's no passion there, it's very difficult to be good at your job. Right. And I think growing and evolving is key. When I meet with new people that come into the company, I want to learn from them. I don't know everything. And I think knowing that is for my benefit. I am not a Gen Zer. I'm not a millennial. What do millennials want? What do Gen Zers want? I think in life, you just have to be a sponge and learn from every experience you have and then apply it to what you're doing every single day.
That's great. Can I also add one more thing?
Yes.
I think it's also important to not always follow the money, because money isn't everything. I think it's also important to follow what you feel is good for you, because everything is not for everyone. Just because other artists are doing it doesn't mean that it's for you. And if you do take something that's not really a good fit for you, you can end up in a space where you're not happy or you're doing work that you don't really enjoy, just because the money looked great. So it's not all about the money all the time.
Yeah. And sometimes you might do something and it's not the most paying, but you might get great exposure.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
Adele asked, how should you reach out to brands using your content without your permission and sometimes without crediting creators, photographers, to make it lead into a collaborative relationship? So I guess making an uncomfortable situation a positive one. Melissa?
that one. Yeah.
Oh.
So I think number one, just being really professional about your communication. Hi, I'm so glad you loved my content. However, I noticed that you were using it and I had never been contacted by the company. I am really passionate about your brand. I'd love to work with you. If you have an agent, obviously looping in your agent. If you don't, I would just be as professional and buttoned up as possible to show them that you kind of know what's going on and you are feeling that it's unfair that they're using your content in the nicest, most professional way. But that you'd love to work with them. Like, we'd love to work with you. I'd love to work out a deal with you to be able to use this content. But as of right now, what you're doing is in some ways illegal, right? So just making sure that you are business professional when you reach out to them so that they know you know your stuff.
Definitely. Naeemah, do you have anything to add or no?
Agreed.
Okay, last question. This one's for Naeemah.
Yeah.
What tip would you give an artist who are trying to find their niche and purpose again in the industry?
I think you really need to dive into what you actually like to do. I think people do so much of doing what everyone else is doing and following trends. I feel as though my career like really started to ramp up when I just did what I like, and I did a lot of it. And that's when I was actually able to see what what my signature looks like. Like, what does hair by Naeemah actually look like? Because I was just doing that kind of work, like really intentionally, like doing like statement hair and just hair that really just gave me all the feels. When you do the work that gives you all the feels, then you'll find your niche because it's right there. You don't really have to dig hard to find it. Just do the things that really make you feel good and make you feel like your work is really showing.
Amazing. Okay, closing statements from both of you to wrap it up. If you could just give last parting advice for anyone tuning in. Melissa, do you want to start?
I always go with this statement that my husband said to me when I was starting my business. It's, if you're not growing, you're dying. And I think it's so true in this business that changes every single day. Even artists who at the top of their game can still learn something. And I think never forgetting that and staying humble are the two keys to continue to evolve your career with how in the direction of the industry. So that would be my advice.
Thank you. Naeemah?
Yes, I think hustle like culture gets like a bad rap these days, and people kind of like look down upon it. Like, I'm not doing all of that to get to this point. But I think you have to think about, like, there is no other way. There isn't, I mean, of course you can get lucky, but I think the way to the top, the way to success and, to getting all the things you want in your career is to lay it all out there, lay it all on the line, do all of the things and really work hard. That is the key. Like, there is no magic potion. You have to put in the hard work. And like Melissa said, be humble and then you'll get there. There is no like one person that you need to find that's going to discover you and it's going to make it happen. You putting one foot in front of the other every day and making sure that you are consistent about working and putting your art out there. That's how it's all going to come together. We can, tune into all of these, lives and shows and, read all the books we want. But at the end of the day, it's hard work that's going to get you where you need to be.
Thank you, guys.
I just want to add to that.
Yeah.
I totally agree, Naeemah. I know the hustle and like 24/7 culture is kind of frowned upon. And I'm not saying that you have to work 24/7, but I think through social media, so many people don't see the hustle. They don't see how they got where they are today. It's almost like they woke up in this position. And I feel like it's very important to recognize there was hard work behind that.
Absolutely. All of those reels with like trips to Bali and exotic places. There's like a lot of hard work behind that. So it's not just, it can seem like everyone's just like living their best life. And you're like, what is going on? What's going on with me? I promise you, everyone, a lot of people are working very hard to be where they are.
Thank you both so much, Naeemah and Melissa. It was so nice speaking with both of you.
Thank you.
Thank you everyone for joining. The next session is on freelance best practices, where we'll answer more questions on representation, branding, finance, and more. Thank you guys.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.